I'm so often asked, how do I balance my hormones in perimenopause? I feel like I'm on this hormonal roller coaster that I just can't get off. What do I do? How do I balance my hormones in perimenopause? So, we're going to tackle that question today. And I'm going to start with nutrition because how, what, and when we eat has a profound effect on our hormones and our health, especially in our 40s. You're never going to be able to balance your hormones, especially in perimenopause, unless your blood sugar is stable and your insulin is stable as well. And this is why nutrition is the first foundational pillar that I teach my clients. The reason is our ovaries are very susceptible to blood sugar and insulin ups and downs, as well as insulin resistance. Here are some things that happen when blood sugar and insulin are not stable. A hormone called luteinizing hormone, or LH, gets increased, which causes more androgens like testosterone. So we can see symptoms like irregular periods, hair growth in all the wrong places, hair loss on the head, acne, irritability, bursts of anger, even PCOS. Another thing that can happen is ovulation can be inhibited, and this is going to reduce progesterone and contribute to estrogen dominant type symptoms, things like heavy, long, and painful periods, breast pain tenderness, fibrocystic breasts, endometrial hyperplasia, fibroids and cysts, for example. What else can happen? Well, there's an enzyme called aromatase, which can be upregulated, and that's going to increase the conversion of all of those testosterones, those androgens, into our estrogens. And then again, all of those estrogen dominant type symptoms. And finally, there's a hormone called follicular stimulating hormone, or FSH, and that gets suppressed, which can lead to ovarian cysts because follicle development gets inhibited, and it can lead to anovulation and progesterone deficiency. So balancing our blood sugar and insulin is absolutely critical for our hormones. When blood sugar and insulin are not stable, we don't ovulate, we don't produce progesterone. It creates an internal stressor on our nervous system. We find ourselves gaining weight. We have mood swings, especially irritability, anxiety, emotional volatility. We have cognitive struggles like difficulty concentrating, memory issues, brain fog. We can have irregular periods, heavy, long, and painful periods. We're more likely to have thyroid problems, hair loss, hair thinning, heart palpitations, poor energy, insomnia. It's really far reaching. So, how can we use nutrition to support and balance our hormones in perimenopause? I want you to get a piece of paper and a pen out, get ready to take some notes. Eat breakfast, please. Eat breakfast between 1 and 1.5 hours of rising in the morning. Please stop intermittent fasting. That's going to put such a huge stress on your body, and our poor nervous systems are not as resilient as they once were. Really aim for a minimum of 20 to 30 grams of protein per meal, ideally 30 to 40 grams, most especially at breakfast. And aim for at least 100 to 120 grams of protein per day. Protein is absolutely essential, not just to support insulin, but to build muscle. Muscle is an organ of longevity. It's an endocrine organ. It's going to mop up excess insulin and blood glucose. It's going to improve mitochondrial health, and it's going to improve bone and heart health as well. So we want to prioritize protein and produce, lots of non-starchy veggies and fruits, especially berries. Carbs aren't the enemies, lady. Okay, we just need the right ones, and we need to pair them appropriately. Healthy fats, 2 to 4 tablespoons per meal, and afternoon snacks. I find for the women that I work with in perimenopause are extremely beneficial for blood sugar and supporting the nervous system, which I'm going to talk about in just a second. We are more insulin resistant in the second half of our cycle, and we require slightly more calories then as well. So getting in an extra 90 to 250 calories and really prioritizing protein in your luteal phase is a must. And starchy carbs, like sweet potato, for example, can be really fantastic in the evening to support serotonin production, which can help with moods, especially those of you with anxiety, as well as sleep. Okay, let's move on to supporting the adrenals and nervous system. This can really set you up for a more seamless transition through perimenopause and into menopause. put you in a better position to mitigate health issues down the road, like cardiovascular disease, cognitive decline, diabetes, etc. We really need to be looking at hormones differently. In fact, we really need to be stopping hyper isolating our hormones and take a look at the bigger picture. With the adrenals and nervous system, we're really looking at our stress response and cortisol. So if you are someone who feels like you're constantly racing from one thing to the next, you're regularly anxious, you're relying on caffeine to keep you going, you constantly feel fatigued, exhausted, or burnt out, you have trouble getting out of bed in the morning, you're struggling with insomnia, either you have a hard time falling asleep or you're regularly waking up at night, typically between 1 and 4 a.m. If you're having energy dips throughout the day, especially in the middle part of the afternoon, if you have carb or sugar cravings, if you feel wired and tired at night, kind of like you get a second wind in the evenings before bed, if you have low libido, if you feel overwhelmed, stressed out, or unable to cope the way that you once could, these are all signs that your nervous system has lost its resiliency, and this is a really big red flag to pay attention to in our 40s. When our nervous system, adrenals, and cortisol are dysregulated, we're going to have trouble with estrogen metabolism and clearance, and we're more likely to experience symptoms like heavy, long, and painful periods, fibroids, breast pain and tenderness, mood swings, ovarian cysts. We're less likely to ovulate, which is incredibly important. We need to be preserving ovulation for as long as possible in perimenopause. Thyroid function will be inhibited. So metabolism is going to slow, weight is going to creep on. We're going to find ourselves struggling with constipation and other digestive issues. We're going to fail to feel rested even after sleeping for long hours. Heart palpitations, hair thinning, dry, brittle, dull, and lifeless hair, hair loss from the outer third of the eyebrows, flaky, dry, and rough skin, high cholesterol, low libido, low pulse rate, low body temp, recurrent infections, depression, headaches, irritability, mood swings, the list goes on. We are going to struggle with our digestive system because that gets inhibited when our adrenals and nervous system are dysregulated. So we're going to experience digestive symptoms like bloating, gas, constipation, heartburn, reflux, diarrhea, indigestion. And our immune system is going to be inhibited. So we're going to find ourselves getting sick more often and taking longer to recover. This is huge. And this is the second major pillar that I teach my clients. And I have to tell you, stress management is a bunch of BS. It's about coaching up or rebuilding our stress resiliency. So what does that look like? What can you do? Prioritize your sleep. And if you're struggling with sleep, work with a practitioner who can help you to understand why. A Dutch test can be really helpful here in understanding what your cortisol, your adrenals, your nervous system are up to, but also a really thorough health history and timeline to understand some of those underlying mechanisms that are really preventing you from having a good night's sleep. Use blue light blockers. Better yet, avoid screens in the 2 hours before bed to really support your cortisol and melatonin production. If you wake up at night to pee, limit your fluid intake in the evening. And if you're still waking up at night to pee, we really need to be taking a look at your nervous system. You can try things like magnesium, passion flower, or lemon balm for sleep. Turn down the lights in your home in the evening to support cortisol and melatonin production. Make sure your room is dark and cool, using a night mask if you need to. Turn your electronics off at night, airplane mode at least on your phones if you use your phone as an alarm. Use a white noise machine. Bring in deep breath work, incorporate more stillness, take pauses throughout the day, even just 2 minutes to take some deep breaths or do some light stretches. You can try things like meditation, hypnotherapy, and journaling are incredibly helpful at really digging deep into stored emotions and getting those out. The body really does keep score. Try dancing and singing at the top of your lungs, writing and burning, journaling and shredding. Some other really important considerations to balance your hormones, optimize your health and longevity in your 40s include supporting your drainage and detox pathways, loving up on your liver, improving digestive health and function, running functional labs. I personally run and recommend the Dutch hormone test and the GI map gut health test. And a quick note here about the practitioners out there who claim that running hormone testing in perimenopause is pointless. I think that is really short-sighted and very myopic. There is so much information that we can glean from running functional hormone testing, specifically with the Dutch test. It's not just about your overall hormones. It's about how you metabolize and break them down, looking at inflammatory markers, looking at your nervous system and adrenal function, your diurnal pattern, your metabolized versus free cortisol. Are you keeping it active or inactive? It all matters. It looks at antioxidant markers. There's a lot of information that we can glean from a hormone test in perimenopause. Now, I hope you found this helpful. I know it can feel overwhelming. I know it can feel like there is so much to tackle. Focus on the 1 to 2 things that feel manageable for you right now and build from there. And reach out for help to accelerate your progress. You can grab my perimenopause guide or my nutrition guide for more information, or learn more about working with me and my team inside my clinic, my women's health virtual clinic. I've linked to those below this video. You can also reach out to me on Instagram. I'm at stephanie.sing.balancedhealth, and make sure to subscribe, to follow, and to like this video to continue to get notified when I share more content. In the meantime, have a fantastic day, and we'll talk soon. Bye for now.